Browns offense, all right, Cleveland's lost more games than they've won. They're bottom half of the league, yards and points.
Yep.
Outside of Miami, the only quarterback with more interceptions than touchdowns is Baker Mayfield.
Oh.
So, I mean, this isn't a make me feel better about my team segment. However, it kind of fits as we start the deep dive here. I know a couple days ago you talked about the identity of the Cleveland offense being lacking, but what specifically isn't there right now?
Yeah, well, okay. I think the first thing has to start out with this. And that's the first thing I wrote is you'll see. All right, one of the first things I noticed in the game to begin with is just that number 56 and number 99 are man-childs. I mean, Dante Fowler and Aaron Donald, almost from get-go, you turned on the film and I went, ooh, they're going to have trouble blocking these guys. I mean, from the very first play, they popped, and you were like, oh, gosh, especially Dante Fowler. And then Aaron Donald came along as the game went on. So there's issues there. And the Cleveland Browns, just so we talk about this, yeah, they don't have an identity in their pass game, but also they have to protect their pass game right now when they play a team like the Rams because they have a right tackle, right guard pass protection issue. There's no other way to say it. I mean, the fact that Hubbard didn't get to play at right tackle and they played Justin McCray, who's really been a guard most of his life, he had to play tackle, and they already had issues with Cush at right guard. That was a recipe for disaster. So I do think Freddie Kitch's game plan a little bit was get the ball out of their hands quick because we're not going to hold up against this front four if we call plays 20, 15 yards down the field and we're always taking shots. So that's why it looked a little underwhelming from that standpoint. But 56 and 99 were everywhere. Okay. Their identity started a little with their run game. They ran the ball 23 times for 96 yards. Okay, I know it's not great. It's not great, but it was good. It was good.
You're not ignoring it at that point.
I'm not ignoring it, no. And there was a few plays that were real close to becoming big-time runs where it's like a shoestring tackle or Nick Chubb is going to break it and go for another 20 or 30. So I like that aspect of it. And you've heard me say, and this will be the third week in a row I say it, this is an O-line that is better at run blocking than pass blocking. So I think they got to start playing to that strength of their team. And you know this because this is another common theme with all the lackluster offenses in football right now. They don't get underneath the center enough. Right. I just want to go, are you watching the Rams on the other side of the ball? Are you watching the Saints on a weekly basis? Do you see Tom Brady? Do you see Jimmy Garoppolo and their offense and what they're tearing people up with?
Right.
The best offenses in football are underneath the center.
What do you think their counter argument would be? Like the offenses that go almost strictly shotgun. They listen to you. And these
they're going to
get under center. They look great in the run game. They're more play action possibilities. But we do this because
I'm going to guess they're going to say it makes a clearer picture for our quarterback, right? Not everybody's smashed between the tackles. Which is true. Sure, that's great. Our pass protection rules are a little easier in the shotgun too, right? Like if you have a double A gap blitzer and you're in the shotgun, your guard doesn't have to block down, right? Because you have the back there.
Right.
So there is benefits to it. I get it. But the non-benefits, I think, far outweigh those benefits we just talk about there. And, again, and they got underneath the center a few times and ran play action pass. And, of course, good things happen, okay? But the biggest thing is I think it's going to be their best way to help their O-line. It's going to be the best way to jumpstart Baker Mayfield. It's going to make the game more simple for him. Again, shotgun play action run plays do not have the same effect on the second level linebackers as they do when you're underneath the center. When the guy's underneath the center and, I can't really see clearly back there, and now the quarterback's turned his back to me to hand the ball, and there was a mesh between the running back and the quarterback where I'm not so sure if he's got the ball or not, so I'm coming downhill because he's coming downhill too. And when it's in the shotgun, it doesn't go like that. You can kind of see it clearly. Just as we talked about the quarterback, it paints a clearer picture. The linebacker's going, this is clear to me too. So he can see the what's going on in the back end there. So that's just something that jumps out to me, and I wish they would do it more. They did it last year, especially when Freddie Kitchens took over, and I don't know why they've gotten away from it so much, but I do like the fact that they got into the running game, okay? The other thing I would tell you, they got to move OBJ around more. Everybody.
He's been static, just like.
They kind of just put him outside, single side, more times than not, make him the X receiver. Listen, it's his OBJ. The bright lights are on him every play.
Right.
I mean, the Rams in almost every play double teamed him. Yeah. They were not going to let him oh, get one-on-one versus Marcus Peters and just go to work, or get one-on-one with Aqib Talib. They didn't care. They went, no, we're gonna. One of you guys get up there and press him, and Eric Weddle's gonna be behind you to help you every single play. Red zone doubled every single play. So my answer to that is, you have to make him part of the concept more. One, because it's going to mess up the doubling rules. If you have them in a bunch and all of a sudden the defense goes, well, damn, we got 6 guys over here covering the bunch. We're not very sound on the back end or in the run game.
Or if you send them in motion.
You're going to test some of those rules and communication and things out like that. So I do think that's something they have to work on a little bit more. But overall, I had no big issue with the plan of attack for the Browns. For the most part, there was nothing that I looked at that just said, ooh, this is an issue. I think they did what they had to do.
You don't think they've been too aggressive?
Not in this game, maybe overall, but I don't think in this game. As the game went on, I mean, no, I think he called the game according to what he thought he could get away with on this defense. Now, the Rams' front four is special. They play zone coverage almost every play because they know their front four can get home. So they don't take any chances. They're a little bit like, hey, we're going to play zone. We'll see if you can execute for 10 or 12 plays. Chances are, though, our number 99 is going to something up for you and put you behind the sticks or cause a turnover, and we'll be okay. But we're not going to let you just throw a fade or pick plays and get the ball out of your hand quickly. They're going to make you pat the ball like we talk about, because we think 56 or 99 will make something happen. And I think that's the right approach on their side of the ball. Baker has to be better in the pocket, Paul.
Better as in, because I can picture it. I think I know where you're going with it. Better as in more accurate, better as in to stop moving around. You don't have to.
All of it. Like, you know, don't see ghosts, okay? You know, you just sometimes people get close and it's his right away is drop his eyes, let me move around. Or the other thing I hate more than anything is, you know, and I'm going to jib this. Let's jib this, Jonald McDonald. Is the other thing, too, is he's got to learn to push up in the pocket. That's I would say, watch Tom Brady and the Patriots. Watch some other good quarterbacks. That's what they do. Something I learned when I was in New England and played for Josh McDaniels, nothing good happens when you go backwards. And too many times during the game, here's Baker Mayfield, and okay, people are around him, but instead of stepping up and going like this because there's a pocket formed, and now if he would step up and do this, nobody's in front of him, and it's going to be like he's in 7-on-7 in football practice, right? Because now everybody's behind him. Instead, he kind of does this and starts running out to the side. And there's nothing good that's going to happen out there.
His first reaction is to go sideways.
Right.
Not back, not front, but sideways.
And it just shouldn't be that way. He's going to put more pressure on a defense when he starts to learn to step up. And there was a few plays in this game where I just went, man, if he steps up, they're going to be in trouble in the back end. They got people open, you know, but he was more worried about getting outside the pocket. And maybe that's because of size. And, hey, he's been able to get away with it with his athleticism his whole career. But Baker Mayfield's not that fast. Not for NFL quarterbacks today. No, I mean, he ran 4.8 at the Combine. Aaron Donald beats him in a race every day of the week, twice on Sunday. Dante Fowler does. Most defensive tackles are 300 pounds. You're going to beat him. So you're not going to win that. But you might win the step up in the pocket. Okay, now it's cleared out for you. You could see everything. Also, what you're doing when you step up in the pocket, you're attacking the line of scrimmage. So zone linebackers, they see you step up in the pocket, they start to get nervous, like, oh, damn, he might take off and run. So they start to come up. Oh, damn, he threw it behind me. I mean, Brady's mastered that. You know, let me step up aggressively, and the linebackers get antsy. Oh, he might run for 3 or 4. Let me start coming up too. Oh, damn, he hit Edelman right behind me. Gosh, damn. And that's what he's got to get better at that, because he's leaving plays and putting them in bad situations there.
And it's not as difficult as changing your motion, which quarterbacks can do a little bit in the offseason, but changing the way you react to pressure in the moment is a hard thing.
It is a very hard thing. There's no doubt.
It's not a quick fix. It's not like, oh, okay, you're right, I can do it this time, because it happens so fast. And like you said, he's gotten away with it for so long. And part of the reason people like watching him play as a rookie is running around and making plays like that. So that's kind of part of his DNA that I think it's a great point.
But it's going to be hard to get it out of him, what you're saying.
Get that out.
It is. They got to drill it. You got to drill it. You got to stay on top of them in practice. You got to go through practice and go, you're not allowed to escape to the sides at all today. That's the rule. Like, you can make that rule in practice. And then you could do drills in practice too. Like, oh, okay, special teams is out there. All right, we're going to have guys here. Like, we're going to make you work the pocket, and you're going to keep your eyes downfield, and we're going to make you step up and continue to move up and step up and slide that way.
And one number Pete just gave me in my ear, Baker right now, 28.3 passer rating against the blitz. Or, I'm sorry, under pressure. 28.3 under pressure. Only 2 quarterbacks worse. Trubisky and Eli Manning. And it isn't because he's not tough. It isn't because he's not a great thrower of the football. It's because of how he's reacting.
It is.
To that pressure.
There's no doubt. He's not sure if he has pressure sometimes. He's not sure where do I go with the ball. I don't think he's sure of what's protected and what's not. He's still learning that. And like we were just saying, nothing good's going to happen running backwards into your right 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
So it's easy to, with you pointing it out, it's easy to picture this and understand where he needs to get better.
Yep.
You can make excuses, or one can make excuses for the first game against Tennessee because it's game one.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of offenses aren't what they should be.
Right.
You can make excuses because the LA Rams are going to make a lot of offenses look bad. With
they are.
What they can do in the front
four.
Right.
They did it to the Saints and Drew Brees just the week before a little. Right.
Do you think this is a team that down the road is going to have a winning record when we get to October, November? Or is this the 1-2, 4-6, 5-7 kind of team?
Well, this is I'm not giving up hope that they can still be a playoff, like just eke our way in the playoff conversation. I'm not, because I still think there's enough talent here. Their defense is good. We're going to get to that in a second. My big thing is they have to weather the storm with the next 4 games. The next 4 games are Ravens, at 49ers, at Seattle Seahawks, at New England Patriots.
What's weather the storm? Win one?
Weather the storm, yeah, maybe just win one. Just don't go 0-4 is what I'm saying.
That's incredible.
Because if they go 0-4, then they're 1-6, and you're pretty much done. If they're 2-5, yeah, okay. Then you got the Broncos, the Bills, the Steelers, the Dolphins, the Steelers, the Bengals.
Yeah.
You might be able to go on a run and get yourself back to, 5-5, 6-5, something like that. So this is an incredible part of the season for them right now.
Yeah.
And their offense has to find an identity. I do think they took a step in the right direction. Let's not lose sight. This was the NFC defending champs, who are definitely one of the best teams in football still, and they had the ball on the 4-yard line, 1st and goal, to tie the game. Maybe win it if they want to go for 2. Last 2 things I just got to hit on with this side of the ball.
Yep.
First off, everybody want to know about the 4th and 9 run call, right? The full Tropic Thunder moment by Freddie Kitchens. I'm not so sure it's Freddie Kitchens. When I watch the film, and I can show you the play after this, I think Baker Mayfield messed up. I think that they had this run play called with another pass play in the huddle, and Baker, for whatever reason, went with the run play. And now, so this is the 2 things I'll say why I think this. One, I look at reactions when I watch coaches' film all the time. I look to see when a guy blows a coverage, does he get up and who's he talking to? Why is he talking? Who's he blaming? What are they talking about? Because it gives you context clues to go, okay, that's probably what they were doing. I look to the coaches sometimes when players are close to the sidelines, because whoever the coach yells at, you go, that's the guy that messed up.
Or he was just standing next to him.
Or let me rewind it and watch that guy there and see what he did. Oh, that's what he did. So this play, as soon as the ball snapped, Freddie Kitchens looks and just stares at Baker Mayfield. Looks downfield to see the guy got 2 yards, right?
Yeah.
And then looks back at Baker Mayfield like with the arms out, like, what are you doing? Yeah. Why did you do that? And so that tells me that Baker Mayfield messed the checkup. The second thing that tells me he messed the checkup was for that play, that's just not the right look to run that play into. I know what they were trying to do. They're trying to kind of catch them off guard and run a weak side run with a few people to the left side and get aggressive pass rush up the field to where they kind of sneak them and go. The problem is the linebackers were kicked over to the side they want to run the ball. So, the weak side linebacker was head up with the tailback. The center couldn't get over there to make the appropriate block to cut him off. And then the other linebacker who was in the box too, the backside lineman couldn't get over there to cut him off. So the alignment was wrong for them to run the play. So before we all jump on Freddie Kitchens, I'm pretty sure that Baker Mayfield would be the one to blame on that play.
Maybe he just whiffed mentally on knowing that it was.
He might have. He might have. I don't know.
What percentage of run plays get more than 9 yards in the NFL?
No.
Less than 10?
No, right. That's where it's one of those where, if I'm going to blame Freddie Kitchens, and by all accounts it looks like it was Baker Mayfield's fault, if I was going to blame one thing on Freddie Kitchens, I would just go, don't even have that a part of the play call in this situation. You're not, if it's 4th and 9. If it was 4th and 4, I'd be cool with you having that part of the play call. But it's 4th and 9.
Yeah.
Like, you got to know, 1, that's a lot to ask for on a 4th and 9. 2, you also got to know, like, damn, I'm going to get scrutinized if we don't make it on 4th and 9 and we get 2 yards and in one of the biggest plays of the game. Like, you got to play that part of the angle too and just go, that's stupid.
He clearly didn't want it to be a run play.
No, and I think he's the ultimate going to take the bullet for the team kind of head coach. Yeah. So I think he just said, my fault, I shouldn't have called it. Right. Even though I think all the things that I saw tell me that Baker Mayfield messed that up.
He forgot it was 4.
Last thing, in the red zone, end of the game, Wade Phillips, who I told you doubled Odell Beckham Jr. every play. He still did that, except one play. He took a chance, and he said, I'm going to go all out. On the first down play, he tried to blitz and go all-out pressure. But all the other plays, he kind of changed up the looks at the end of the game to where I don't think Kitchens or Baker Mayfield could get a feel for what coverage they were in those moments. And that leads to hard to read a defense if you're a quarterback, hard to get a feel for what a defense does if you're the play caller. So those are just two things that jumped up to me. But the last thing to say is on that last play of the game, it goes back to one of our themes. If he pushes up in the pocket, he's going to walk in for a touchdown. But for some reason, he panicked and ran to the right and then just had to throw a ball up the grabs. It's wide open. If he pushes up in the pocket, they've done a little stunt loop. There's nobody there on the inside.
Just
he's going to walk in.
Daniel Jones did.
It's who I thought of. It's exactly what I thought of. I said that Daniel Jones stepped up, and he saw, oh, the sea parted. Let me just go run in.
Was covering me.
Right. So there's that. Sorry, that was a lot, but
it's good.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Baker counts as a star. So we can hit him in all
angles. Yeah, he is kind of a star.
Other side. Rams offense, Browns defense.
Yep.
You starting with Rams O or Browns D? What's your headline?
Yeah, well, okay. I think Browns D is getting overlooked. That's just one thing I'd like to say. It's a good defense. And, let's not forget they didn't have Greedy Williams or Denzel Ward. I think that hurt them in the matchup to a few scenarios where I think they would have liked to have played man-to-man on some third downs and things like that, where I think they were afraid to because of the guys they had out there in the secondary. But Rams D line, good. I just think the Browns defense is good, and we need to give them credit. They're no pushover.
Where are they best?
I would say they're front four. Myles Garrett, Richardson, and Olivier Vernon and Ogunjobi, it's a good front four. They can cause a lot of disruption. So I just think that we got to give them credit, okay? Other thing is, big picture, Andrew Whitworth, great job on Myles Garrett. I mean, Andrew Whitworth, I don't know, he's 77 years old to match his number on his jersey, but he still can just be left alone against the greatest pass rushers in the game, and you go, we're okay. We don't have to do anything special to protect him. Todd Gurley is not the same guy. I don't care what they say or how they try to put the spin on it, okay? He is not the same Todd Gurley. I'm not saying he's bad. He's still a good player. But Todd Gurley, the superstar,
is not there.
Is over until I see evidence on the contrary.
What's the bigger drop-off? Just thinking back to another guy you described that way, Fletcher Cox. Who's most different this year in an unfortunate way?
I think Todd Gurley. And I think Todd Gurley's is more concerning because I think Fletcher Cox is just dealing with like an injury right now, where I think Todd Gurley's is like, I'm very conscious of cutting off my left knee.
So it's more the cutting than the actual speed?
I think it's more of that, the aggressive cutting. Oh, we're running to the left. There's a hole open to the right. Let me plant my left foot in the ground and really fly. Nah, he kind of uses both feet to do it that way. When he's on the other side, he'll cut aggressively off his right leg to push left. But when it's like I'm running left and I need to push off of the left to cut back to go right, it's not the same. It's almost like he uses both. And I do think he protects his knee a little bit when he goes through traffic. There's just little things that I see that as I watch film.
It's a big thing.
I hope he proves me wrong because he was the man before this.
3 games in to post Super Bowl disappointment. What's your read on Jared Goff?
Jared Goff, he made some big throws in the game. Jared Goff can be streaky. I think McVay does a great job of breaking Jared Goff into the game. I think that's sometimes they get off to slow starts, like we saw the last 2 weeks. I mean, even the Saints game, they end up scoring 20 and 27.
Right.
But I think he's very wary of, I'm going to get Jared involved in the game, get him some easy completions, not put it all on his shoulders early on in case something bad happens that just gets worse.
Right.
I think he kind of just goes, no, defense is good. We can run the ball.
Which they are.
They are. I'll find a few screens and easy passes to get everybody going. And then when McVay feels like he's got a hold on what you're doing, he starts to go, okay, it's Jared Goff. Here we go. Let's start doing play action.
You want to see him do that right away?
I would like to see it more. I mean, it's rare you see a franchise quarterback have to be man managed that way, but it's what works for them, and I'm not going to complain.
Did they do it last year too?
They do, yes. That's what he does. It's just, it's part of what it's part of why he's made Goff who he is too, though. So I'm not going to be mad at that. You know, I'm just amazed by this part of it. The Rams, McVay's patience due to some of the things I said right there. He's got no problem with like, okay, I'm going to stick with my game plan. I'm not going to get like, oh, it's 3-3 and I'm frustrated and I'm going to start throwing like, we're going to get in the shotgun like some teams and just throw it 70 times now. I can't take it anymore. He's always like, oh, 3-3. Okay, that's okay. We're okay. Run the ball, run the ball, play action, you know, and he just stays patient with it. And he never tries to force an issue. He sees the big picture of the game is what I'm saying. And I think he read that game as, ooh, these defenses are good out here, and this might be low scoring, and I'm not going to let our offense lose it. I'm just always amazed by that. And then really the simpleness of the game plan, more than anything. That's what just jumps out to me. There was nothing special about this game. I mean, it's just he truly, the drop back passes, there was only a few route combinations, but they worked every time they dropped back to pass because he just went, ooh, okay, I don't need 95 plays. I got like 5 pass plays that I'll mix up the formations and maybe play action sometimes, maybe straight back. But I think this will give their defense and what they do issues, and he just rides them to death.
Is that a new approach?
It's always been him. It's always been it. He is about simplicity. This is what we do good. And then he's a master at packaging it all together. Right. And that's where he's always great. But that's what he did. And Goff was really good in third quarter. Goff pretty good in the pocket as compared to McVay. Those are things that jumped out to me. And he got the game going. And then, you know, his last interception at the end of the game was stupid. He just tried to force the issue. He tried to throw the crosser, and Schobert got his hand up and tipped it. And, of course, that almost cost them a win, or at least might have cost them going into overtime.
How major of an issue is this to the passing game and the play action and the different ways they package it that Gurley is pretty good instead of great?
Yeah, it's not going to maybe – I think at some point during the season people are going to go – when they're underneath the center, second level, I want you to err on play action pass. Don't worry about coming downhill so aggressively. I think that time will come here soon where defenses are going to go, hey, their run game's good, but – it's not good like it was the last 2 years where if there was a hole, Gurley might go 70 to the house.
Right.
I think that their teams are going to err on favoring the play-action pass here sooner than later. And it's just going to hurt them in general because they're amazing at staying patient with play-action passing.
And before we put that one behind, favorite team in the NFC West right now? Best team?
I think it's between the Rams and the 49ers.
Right.
I think I got to go with the Rams right now. But I think the 49ers...
I kind of thought you were going to say the 49ers.
Watch out for them. I don't want to quite crown them yet.
Right.
It's 3 games in, and there's another team who's gone to the playoffs 2 years in a row and won the Super Bowl, or gone to the Super Bowl. But the 49ers are like, I look at them right now to go, there's a lot of things in their DNA of their team where I go, they can be really dangerous.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.